Welcome back to Ohio Tabletop Gamers. Today, I'd like to give my thoughts on the Human Defense Force support vehicle. Now, this is often overlooked and sometimes misunderstood by players, but I think that after today's video, I'm hoping that it would change your mind, or at least shine a little light onto this weapon, because it is really good and very versatile. So let's go ahead and see what it's all about. So, out of the box, the support vehicle is 255 points. A quality 4, defense 2, with hold the line, impact 3, mobile artillery, tough 6. It comes with Eagle rockets, a 30-inch range, with 2 attacks, AP 2, blast 3 with indirect, and the heavy flamer with 12-inch range, 1 attack, 1 AP, blast 3, reliable. This is an excellent choice right out of the box at 255 points. Those Eagle rockets have a range of 30 inches. You get 2 attacks hitting on 4s at AP 2 with a blast 3 and indirect. Now it comes with mobile artillery, and so mobile artillery is when this model uses a hold action and shoots at enemies over 9 inches away. It gets +1 to hit rolls as long as this model hasn't moved during the round. When enemy units shoot at it from over 9 inches away, they get -2 to hit. Now going back to our overview here. So with these Eagle rockets, if you're not moving, you're going to be hitting on 3s instead of 4s. But if you do move, you're hitting on 4s, which still isn't bad at all. I mean, the same that you're doing with a battle tank or anything else. It's not bad hitting on 4s, but if you're stationary, you get to hit on 3s, and your opponent at 9 inches away gets a -2 to hit with that mobile artillery. That is decent. That makes these Eagle rockets really good, especially with the indirect. So you can get a 30-inch range attack, ignoring all of the terrain, hitting on 3s. So, and with an AP2 blast 3, that's really good. It is effective against pretty much your T3s down to your chaff. So out of the box, this is pretty good. So you get upgrades. You can switch out the Eagle rockets for a shard mortar, which has a 24-inch range, 3 attacks, blast 3, indirect with rending. So you're getting the blast 3 with rending. Otherwise, it'll be just straight up saves, and that's for 5 points. If it was between the shard mortar and the Eagle rockets, I'm definitely going to pick the Eagle rockets. Rending's good, but I'd rather have the blast 3 at AP2. You can also get the AA cannon, 30-inch range, 6 attacks, AP3 with unstoppable for 25 points. Now, this one is very decent. Obviously, we're going to talk about this one a little bit later, but this one is a very decent upgrade for only 25 points. So let's move on to the ballistic missile. 36-inch range, 1 attack, AP4 with a blast 12, indirect, limited, reliable. Yeah, this one is not good. I mean, unless you're really going after a unit that's been doubled up, a blast 12 is just too much. Being limited, I know it's reliable, but 35 points for something that's limited, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody that would use this. I definitely would never use this, just because of the limited, and the blast 12 is just too much. Too much blast 12. I'd rather have a couple attacks at blast 3 than anything blast 12. And then finally we get the artillery cannon. 36-inch range, 3 attacks, AP1, blast 3 with indirect for 45 points. This one is absolutely excellent. That 36-inch range, you can pretty much range the entire board with this thing. You can just sit in the middle of your deployment zone and pretty much range over every single objective marker on the field. With 3 attempts hitting on 3s because you're sitting there, blast 3 AP1s, this thing is good against T3s on down to your chaff. Definitely chaff. There's nowhere that your opponent's going to be able to hide because of the indirect. You can really just go after their scouts. I mean, well, anything. You can go after anything with this. This is an excellent choice if you're running a support vehicle. This one most definitely, and I've run it several times, I like to put it right in the middle of my deployment zone near the edge. Not the edge of the table, but the other edge going into the non-deployment zone areas. So I can pretty much reach everything on the table, and I can just blast away at infantry, scouts, snipers, anything I want to. They're all within range with those blast 3s and AP1s. This is an excellent choice for a artillery, mobile artillery. So yeah, I like this one a lot. And finally, you can replace the heavy flamer with a heavy machine gun, 30-inch range, 3 attacks, AP1 for 15 points. We all know what the machine gun does. It actually is a pretty decent choice. You really don't need the flamer. I mean, obviously, if somebody gets up close to you, which they should never do, then you have trouble screening and protecting your artillery. However, I think the machine gun can give your midboard guys a little backup, if somebody comes within 30-inch range. So I would rather go with the machine gun than the flamer. And then finally, you can upgrade with the extended buff range for 5 points. You can give him Strider for 10 points, which is absolutely unnecessary if you're using, the long range, guns like the artillery cannon. There's no reason to have Strider at all because you're not going to be moving anywhere anyway. The camouflage netting can be useful, gives you some stealth, and that will also stack with the -2 to hit over 9 inches. So you'd be -3 to hit with your artillery roll and your mobile artillery roll and stealth. You'd be -3 to hit at over 9 inches away. So I would suggest putting the stealth on there just because -3 to hit is excellent. So yeah, definitely stealth if you're going to go that route. Okay, so let's go back and look at that AA cannon. It's a 30-inch range. You get 6 attacks, AP3 unstoppable. That is very good. If you want to make this into another light battle tank, this is very cost efficient. Now, you're not going to have the fast with it, but a 30-inch range gun, 6 attacks at AP3, unstoppable. I mean, obviously, this thing is not designed to be put on like a mobile artillery. You got to have line of sight with this one. So you don't want to sit still with the AA cannon anyway. You want to move it around. So you don't need the stealth. You don't need to worry about the artillery roll. You don't have indirect with it. The only bad thing is you don't have fast. But that 30-inch range helps negate the lack of having the fast. And it is not a bad idea because it's cheap. It's a tough 6 to use it as a light tank. 6 attacks at AP3 unstoppable is no joke. That is a very good weapon. Yeah, I know you don't have the tough 12 like a regular battle tank does, but you could run a couple of these. Again, 6 attacks, AP3 unstoppable. That is really good. And the only downside is that you don't have fast. But again, like I just said, that range of 30 negates that, because if you try to put that AA gun and try to use it as like artillery, I think you're wasting your time and making it difficult for yourself, because you need that line of sight with this weapon. And if you look at the cost, This is an excellent choice for a pseudo light tank or a pseudo medium tank. It's very cost effective. If you start building a list and you put battle tanks in, take the battle tanks out and run a couple of these with that AP3. That is so good. And you're hitting on 4s, and you can buff it if you want. You can use an officer to buff it so they can hit on 3s, just like you do with a battle tank. And I think that you'll find that this one will do you better than the battle tank because it's less points, which means you can run a couple of these and something else and be more cost efficient in your list. I've run this with the AA cannon, the AP3. AP3s threaten everything on the board. That's what I'm getting at. AP3 threatens everything from a tank, a monster, down to your chaff. There isn't a target on the field that this cannot handle. And just like the video we did, that I did yesterday, talking about the tactical walker with those AP3s, look at this. This is 6 attacks at AP3, unstoppable. This is, I know that the tactical walker gets 12 attacks at AP3, but this one gets unstoppable, and it's cheaper. This is an excellent choice for a pseudo light tank, pseudo medium tank. Don't overlook this. This is a great possibility for your army to get some really heavy hitting into your list without breaking the bank, needing a heavy tank or even the attack vehicle. This is, points wise, this is more cost effective. And that AP3 is no joke. And with Unstoppable, well, you're doing great. And if you want to buff it, hitting on 3s, that's even better. So the fact that it doesn't have fast is actually kind of better for you because it will stay alongside your officer who is buffing him, giving him the 3-up hit. So just consider it. I mean, I ran them a couple times and they work very good because it surprises your opponent. You know, it's not a tank, but you got a long range, you've got AP3 unstoppable on it, and you can buff it and hitting on a 3-up, and at the very worst, you're hitting on a 4-up, same as a battle tank. So that's not anything different, you know, than what you may normally run. So if you haven't tried this, this is really good, and you will save points that you can put into other units or buff other units up, or even add units to your list if you're not running, you know, at max activations. This could free up some points for you. So don't overlook that AA gun. That is, it works great. The other one that I really like is the artillery gun because you can just sit there and throw shells over the entire board. So out of the box is not bad. Out of the box is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with out of the box weapon there. But the artillery gun is so much better because of the range and the availability of targeting anything on the field. But I have to say that I slightly give the edge to the AA gun in running it as a tank. I think that being more mobile in a game like this, where it's objective game and not a killing game, that if you can put one of these on the field with those AP3 hits, you are doing great, and it gives you mobility, and it is cheap. And that is the main thing about it. You're getting a heavy hitter at a very low cost. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. If any of you run the support vehicle in any way, shape, or form, please put it down in the comments below and let us know how you run the support vehicle and what successes you have, and any other ideas that you have involving the support vehicle. I'm sure that anybody that is getting into it that has not yet run the support vehicle would appreciate any insight you guys have from running this. So anyway, I will close it out today. Those are just my thoughts on the support vehicle. With that, I hope you have many more happy games ahead of you. I wish the best for you and your family. Take care.